from America's heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa.
GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen. Top in the news this hour, and it looks like we have Mueller, and he thinks he might have Trump in a corner. Mueller's indictment on Friday of Russian cyber warfare against the 2016 elections has a technical investigation masterstroke, and President Trump is now cornered. Mueller report takes a total liar out of Trump for his repeated claims that he believes Russian President Vladimir Putin, when Putin says that Russia had nothing to do with it, and the hacking could have been some guy in New Jersey. The indictment did not quite connect the Russian operation, but Putin personally. But beside the point, they're serious that the persons believed that the operation is sensitive, as deliberate and disruptive to the U.S. election, could go forward into Putin's full knowledge and support of the state authoritarian. Trump is also repeatedly denied Russian involvement. We all know that. And involvement is now shifted gears and insisted that the proper test of wrongdoing is collusion, but this is the straw man. Keep on following this story throughout the afternoon. Meanwhile, a swarm of earthquakes consistently shaking the Canary Islands and Grimsby Island in North Iceland. The magnitude 5.2 earthquake hit around 5:30 yesterday morning. 1 hour later, another magnitude 4.5 hit that same region, which is under high seismic activity. They felt it on the islands, and the first swarm to occur in that area. Complete news and stocks coming up throughout the afternoon. This is GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen.
Watch. Pray. For you not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy, New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pandemics, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, signs in the heavens. Keep up with world news and events you hear on GJRB's News on the Hour. Go to End Time Headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. With a lot of chaos happening, keep in touch with End Time Headlines and GJRB.
And in other news this afternoon, there reported another sad story. This is in the Sudan, as Christians in that area and watch as the government authorities tore down another church with a bulldozer just hours after service last Sunday. Leaders of a small evangelical church in Al-Hag Yusuf, the police officers arrived with trucks along with bulldozers without any warning. They took everything out of the church, including Bibles. Officials of the church leaders were also tearing down and building down. Let's try it again. Officials told church leaders they were tearing the building down because the worship caused disturbance. Yet church leaders said that the government wants to give that property to Muslims for a business. The church says they own the property since 1989, but the local Muslim business has forged documents in an effort to prove ownership. And we'll talk about that throughout the afternoon today here on GJRB Online. Take a look at the stock market report right now. So we're going to go to the GJRB CNN. It's the only thing we connect ourselves with CNN to. Stock market. And oh boy, look at this. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 240.68. Ooh, that's not good. NASDAQ up 3 points and the S&P down 12. Next news is the bomb of the hour, bomb at the top of the clock to keep you on top. GJRB News on the hour and half hour during the Gary Russen program. Got more news coming up throughout the afternoon and late-breaking stories as it happens during the Gary Russen program, GJRB's original news talk program. I'm Gary Russen, GJRB News.
America's street music is back on GJRB, Bluegrass with the Grass Goals, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites, too.
At a brand new time, every third Saturday at 12 noon Central on GJRB.
End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Next news at the bottom of the hour. Give news breaks. You're covered and informed. Now, GJRB presents the Gary Russen program, the original news talk program. Call Gary J. Russen right now on the Skype line at gary.russen or contact him on the GJRB chat room by clicking the balloon icon on the GJRB Spreaker widget on the Spreaker public site and on Twitter. Now, the Gary Russen program.
Yeah, all right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everywhere across America and around the world, wherever you're listening to on social sites like Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and all over social sites. Welcome to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. How you doing, everyone? Gary J. Russen with you. Another great show on the way as we get started on the Gary Russen program. I've been off the air for a while, but planned this show today because of the incidents that occurred as a result of last week's horrible, horrific shooting in Broward County, Florida. That is just pitiful. It is really sad. This young man, obviously, I don't know, 19 years old. You have to ask yourself a question here. How does a little 19-year-old brat, I guess he's an adult in the eyes of the state, but how does he get a hold of a AR-15 high-powered rifle? And what is the point of throwing a grenade, or was it a smoke bomb, into a classroom or setting off fire alarms such that they can shoot students getting out of classrooms? What a sick, deranged idiot. Hate to say it. I know I'm a Christian. I know I'm trying to break the habit. But like smoking is just a hard habit to break. I mean, it really is. I just don't get this whole thing. I mean, it's just terrible situation we're in this country when they glorify guns like that. Now, I'm a gun advocate. I personally don't care to have one, in my honest opinion. I mean, I don't. And quite frankly, I've been through a lot of mental problems myself. And as a result, I think if I were to register for even a handgun for this matter, it would be where I just don't think I would be granted. And I'd expect that. Because, see, right now I'm dealing with my own anger issues of what's going on around the world and everything. it's things I got to try to work with God over, because right now I am I get ticked off at these left wing socialists, and I really don't. I've been ticked off this week. I'm going to be honest with you. With Joy Behar, or whatever her name is. That stupid show called The View, which I quite frankly think it should be pulled off the air. All it is sitting there and going, and if you don't think like they do, if you don't agree with their politics, if you don't agree with what they have to say, you get pulled. You won't. You're not, and I got a soundbite coming up later. As a matter of fact, it's Mike Pence's answer to The View. Yeah, he just nonchalantly he doesn't care what they say. I mean, this man is fabulous Christian. I guess he could be a good example for all of us who are Christians. This man really, he talked to CBN, and he said that him and his family are devout Christians, and they pray before meals, and they give God thanks for their meals and the things they have. And I think he doesn't really care what ABC really says, but he says it's a shame when ABC does stuff like this. Well, owned by Disney. Look what Disney's doing. They are their way of thinking. It's the homosexual thing. They stick up for that. The homosexual lifestyle. They stand up for that. You see that in some of their new movies. You see, ABC is owned. Disney owns ABC. I love Disney. I am not against Disney, but I'm disappointed in the way Disney is acting. I remember, and I was thinking of this yesterday, and not just that, but also the fact that our pride in the United States and America has gone down the tubes. I wish that, I always say the other day, I just wish I had a time machine so I could go back in time to 1976. The summer of 76 was a great time for me as a kid. I was just getting out of grade school, going to high school, but it was a summer in which people showed their pride and they showed their patriotism and proud that America's 200th birthday. It was a great thing. Everybody was excited about that. Everybody. I went to Walt Disney World for the first time in the summer of 1975. And that year, the first parade was the Bicentennial Parade put on by Walt Disney World. And it was a fabulous parade. We have movies of it, actually, in our home movie outfit. My sister and my family took. Brings back fond memories. It really does. It was a great time. It was great when people were proud to be an American, regardless of who was in the White House. It was a switch. I wish we could go back to that. I really do. And, I think that was during the Carter administration, wasn't it? Or was it? I think, or was it the tail end of Ford? Because, no, it could have been. 76 was an election year, so I think that was when we elected Carter. So long ago, but well remembered. Even the music was fabulous in 1976. But you know, I really, like I said before, I have nothing against. I really don't have anything against Disney. I still like Disney, but I'm just kind of disappointed that their wholesomeness has gone down the tubes. I know that I always say if old Walt was still around, or if I always wish that old Walt Disney himself was haunting him, because he'd be telling them, you know, you people gotta quit. This is not what I intended for my empire. I did not intend on you on this whole homosexual thing. I really don't think he'd go for it. I really don't. But, you know, the new generation takes over. This is what they do. Got a great show coming up for you this afternoon. I hope you'll stay with me today. Got a lot of good stuff. You can join me in the chat room this afternoon. This is an open show. You're welcome to be on there. I got it ready. The chat room. I also will have my Skype opened, which I do have open. Let's see if I can go ahead and make myself available there online. Okay, Skype is open. Okay, this goofy dog. Okay, here we go. Here we go. He's ready to bark. He's gonna bark now. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. This is a goofy dog. He hears something. He gets his attention. That's our dog. Okay. Lori must have walked in the door. I should have had I have my new headphones. I got new headphones this past week. They're the kind with the microphone on the end of it. It's got it's a headphone microphone combo. And right now I'm kind of using it as headphones only. I could connect it in and use it as a microphone and find out if that's who's home. Lovely. Wonderful. Tell you what we'll do. I'm going to take a promo break, which I think is about time we do. I'm going to go ahead and flip in a promo break, and I'll be right back. Got more Gary Russen program. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Street music is back on GJRB, Bluegrass with the Grass Goals, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites, too.
At a brand new time, every third Saturday at 12 noon Central on GJRB.
End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Next news at the bottom of the hour. Get Wilkins praised, you're recovered and informed. Now, GJRB presents the Gary Russen program, the original news talk program. Call Gary Russen right now on the Skype line at gary.russen, or contact him on the GJRB chat room by clicking the balloon icon on the GJRB Spreaker widget on the Spreaker public site and on Twitter. Now, the Gary Russen program.
Hey, George, did you hear about Bob landing that big sale?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I got a meeting to go to.
But did you hear what else happened to Bob?
No. What?
You didn't hear what happened to Bob?
No, tell me.
I thought you said you had a meeting.
It's just a meeting with my boss. It can wait. He got caught stealing, didn't he?
No.
He was drinking on the job, right? You know those sales guys.
No.
Embezzling, insider trading? Come on, tell me. What?
Why are you so interested in hearing this? You didn't have time to hear good news about Bob.
That was boring. Now I want to know what happened.
Why?
Because I'm egotistical and I want to hear bad things about other people to make me feel better about myself.
Whoa, that was honest.
Yeah, I shouldn't be that way. I wouldn't want others to talk about the bad things I've done.
You know, Bob, gossip really isn't good.
True. So what happened to Bob?
Oh, he bought a new car with the bonus he got.
You made me late to a meeting with my boss for that?
Well, you insisted I tell you.
Another message from Lifeline Productions, the comic strip of radio at lifelinepro.com.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
This is Michael J. Martin, and you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online.
Yep, we're back. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online and Spreaker across America. Yeah, got my driver's license finally in the mail today, and I gotta tell you, mugshot. Yeah, definitely a mugshot. Anyway, welcome back to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. It's Tuesday. It's Freestyle Tuesday, open line show. And just kind of getting into some of the opening remarks and stuff. And my wife came home. She had some stuff to do, so we're just kind of getting some groceries there put away. But other than that, we got everything rolling. We got the Gary Russen program on the air. And so we're just kind of going through some stories and kind of talking here. And it's just a freestyle show today, so I'm hoping maybe we get a lot of listeners. I got to check my Spreaker public site here in a little bit. And I usually kind of like to maybe take this show where it's supposed to and get some listeners, live listeners. So I usually will do is move the show around. If I cut out at any time during the show, it'll only be because every once in a while we have a cutout. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh over my 9-foot signal. And the stream stopped, it just went, and so I'm kind of keeping an eye on our broadcast to make sure we aren't, getting cut off the air here. So I'll be keeping an eye on that and make sure that we stay on the air throughout the show today. But I think we're good. So I will, keep on that. Meanwhile, let's see, we got some email here from Twitter, the Weather Channel. Take a look at that later. I usually do weather in the news. We'll do that next hour. And we'll see if there's anybody out there. We'll do a rundown on some listeners, see who's out there. And do all that coming up as we continue the Gary Russen program. But meanwhile, it's 24 past, and it's time now to take a look at our weather on the 5s. I'm going to get that ready to go here. And take a look at some national weather and weather on the 5s. Right now, let's do it. Weather on the 5s. And let's see. Okay, well, let's see what we got coming up here. Weather on the 5s on GJRB Online, and the page that I requested is taking forever to load, so hang in there a second while I do this. Maybe I just need to redo it. It's being pokey here. Okay, let me see if we can try to reload that again. Here we go. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. All right, let's take a look. We got some really sloppy weather here in Clinton, Iowa, but there's a heavy rain and flooding, significant winter impacts over the central U.S. And I ain't kidding. Strong fungal boundaries now slowing in and moving into the central United States, which is going to give us some more deep moisture, which can produce heavy rains and flooding with a significant of an ice storm. Wonderful. Rain totals of up to 7 inches of isolated higher amounts, and these are all possible. Significant icing could be up to 1/3 of an inch and occurring in the Central Plain and Middle Missouri Valley. And continuing cold temperatures and snow in the elevations out west. So, gonna be looking at that. Got some moving weather system. We'll take a look at weather in your neck of the woods throughout the afternoon. Wherever you are, we're going to take a look at the west, the east, and the south all afternoon here on GJRB, just to keep you on top of the weather. We'll keep a look at national temperatures and take a look at what they are. But back home, back in my home city in Ambridge, my home is warmer than it is here. What is it? 77 degrees is right? In Ambridge, PA right now? 77? Wow. 77 degrees in Ambridge right now. Oh, kind of sits around under there. Partly sunny. Right now, partly sunny, 76 in Savannah, Georgia, 21 in Spokane, Washington, 14 in cloudy in Denver, Colorado, 59 in rain in Detroit, Michigan, and you're under that winter weather advisory right now. Great Falls, Montana is cold, sunny, but 5 degrees above. And right here in Clinton, Iowa, 35 degrees is your current temperature here at the Spreaker Studios of GJRB. I'm Gary J. Russen. Hope you're enjoying the program. Hope you'll stay with me for all the great talk and fun this afternoon here on GJRB Online. Got a lot of good stuff coming up, so you're going to want to listen today. And maybe we'll have a few things that we want to talk about. We'll get some news and information. And whatever breaks, remember, GJRB's original news talk program, the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online. And we'll be taking all our show and copying it around the sites and seeing who may be out there, maybe listening to the broadcast today, and making room for whoever might just stop in. You want to drop in the chat room? I'll be flipping boards here in a few minutes on our for our 9-foot local break, and then be right back at around 2:30 or so. And we'll have more great conversation here on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Keep you on top of the news and let you know what's coming up on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB. So hang in there and see what's going on across the country here on GJRB Online. So why don't we do that? It's time for another news update in our GJRB news desk. And let's see what's going on for this half hour of news and what stories we'll be covering. It looks like Donald Trump might be in trouble. Anchor berates Trump for silence in Russia. We'll talk about that. Robert Mueller has him in a corner, though. And lost a little brother at Sandy Hook. Interesting story there about the Florida shooting. Here's an interesting story. Wolves play menacing game with a dog in Abruzzo, Italy. Ooh. All these and a whole lot more, plus we'll see what news headlines are up and about on the GJRB Spreaker public site, and along with that, we'll get you all the headlines all coming up on the Gary Russen program. Thanks for listening this afternoon. I'm Gary J. Russen. This is GJRB.